We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
James Woods can say is, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When a Bowen turned into a vampire, all James Woods could say was, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he became Peter's best friend, they sat around the house and said, piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. And you know that James Woods prices laundry well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When they know that he's nectar, the best of them always says, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. Reese's Pieces on the floor and watch him come a saying, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. And you know that James Woods prices laundry well, but everything that he reads becomes real hard to spell. Everyone tries to help him, but the words just won't come out. There's only one thing he can think of, and it's what comes out his mouth. Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. When he comes out of his house, the women scream and shout. Ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy, ooh, a piece of candy. Piece of candy.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
So, a creature for my amusement. Prepare for battle.
Fucking thing sucks!
Yeah. You know, I'm at the whim of science and technology with this this thing. I have it set up to where like the show open rolls, and then at a certain part at the end, it comes to me with that little doom 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 doom, and then my name goes away because I'm lazy. I'm old and tired, and my fingers are like, I don't want to do this no more. So good times. Hopefully the rest of the show will go well. We had a decent show last week with JB, tech-wise, I think. So I think everything was cool. Hopefully this week, knock on wood, that was plastic, knock on wood, we'll have a good technical show. I know we're going to have a great conversation here with one of my brothers in the Indie News Network. He is the host of the Political Fight Club on YouTube. He's also on Rockfin, and he will be at a convenience store near you very soon. Robert Durden, everybody. This guy, I don't know about the convenience store. That's up to you. I
don't know, man. I don't. I just kind of do things, you know. I don't I don't plan a lot of this stuff out. You know, I just kind of do what I want to do.
Well, I don't know how close to New York you are, but if you are in a convenience store somewhere around here, if you could, pick me up a couple of Three Musketeers bars. My sugar's a little low. I appreciate it. So, but if not, that's fine. You know. Yeah,
you're good. You good, man. I'll get you some. Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. I really love what you're doing here, man. This show is so good. It's so uniquely your own. I love the intro and all that stuff. So you keep doing what you're doing, man. I really like it.
Well, I tell you, man. You know, it's like when you try to do something on the interwebs, and it seems like there's a lot of competition. And a lot of people doing similar stuff, but still having success, which is fine. I've always been one of those people that's kind of go to the beat of a different drummer type situation, you know. So with this show, I just wanted to get people on that I thought were interesting and cool, and so that they can show another side of themselves that usually either they're not comfortable doing on their own thing, or it's maybe not appropriate to do on their own thing. It's kind of like a little vacation from your workplace, you know, like Political Fight Club is your fight. It's your workplace, man. And then you come here. We're like the bar afterwards. You come have like a couple of drinks, or maybe if it's Amsterdam, you have a couple of puffs. So
there you go, or both. You know, you never know.
How are you doing, sir? How is life where you are in the universe?
It's good, man. Here in Central Illinois, it's really cold. It's been really cold the last couple of days. Show's going well. You know, I've been doing a little bit more research lately. Not as many videos, but I'm still uploading mostly every day. And of course, I've been watching the stuff that you guys are putting out, which is always fun. You know me. I got my eye on everybody. I'm like Santa Claus that way. So I'm not going to sneak down your chimney and steal all your shit or anything.
I was about to say, whoa, stranger danger. You know, yeah. I mean, I don't really have a problem with people breaking into my place. It's just usually I like to know in advance so I can wear the appropriate clothing. You know, because usually, especially if it's summertime, I don't have AC in this joint. So if Santa's making a surprise visit in August, he's going to be in for a rude awakening, and he'll probably be scarred for the rest of his life. So,
Don't worry. Like I said, I'm not that. I'm not like, I just keep my eye on everybody is what I mean. And so, yeah, man, it's been good. I really can't complain. Though, I mean, I don't know if you pay attention to a whole lot of politics lately. It's been a little bit bleak. Like a lot of shit has gone down over the last couple of weeks. It's been kind of soul crushing. Yeah. They got the Rittenhouse trial, the Maxwell trial. We're putting sanctions on everybody left and right. There's just, Roe v. Wade is maybe getting overturned. Like, not necessarily, but you know what I'm saying, man. It's just like an avalanche of shit lately. Right, so I'm taking a little bit of a step back and trying to like read a little more. I was into YouTube and like really doing a lot of tweeting and stuff for like a couple of months there. And like lately it's just been like, oh, phew. Dude, I gotta take a breath and step back for a little bit. So I'm doing that right now. I'm not cutting off content or anything like that, but I need to like take a breather and go back to like nature and real life. So yeah, man, that's what I'm up to lately.
Yeah, we were kind of talking a little bit about nature before we went on. I was telling you I used to live down south and had all kinds of animals and stuff. We lived like about 3 miles away from town, and it was great. Like if someone was in the bathroom and you needed to take a pee, you could just pee off the back porch. Nobody cared. The closest neighbor was like a quarter of a mile away, and it was just I used to think back then, like, man, I always had like city blood in me. I was born in Chicago, so I'm an Illinois guy for at least a couple years. Before Dad kidnapped us and took us to Mississippi, and talk about a sliding doors moment. So anyway, but I'd always thought, man, I want to get in the city, and then careful what you wish for. I moved to LA, now I'm in New York, and I'm like, I really miss that country. I really do. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm older or something. But for sure. Do you live out in the country?
Kinda. Yeah, that's why my internet's so shoddy. Like, and I'm lucky. Like, we got lucky with the place that we live right now. But yeah, I got a decent view, which helps a lot. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm an old man in a younger guy's body because I do get like stifled. I feel like annoyed a lot of times when I'm in big groups of people for long periods of time, or if I have to walk through a crowded city block. So I feel you, man. Like, I got lucky. I can go on a walk down my street and it's like, you don't hear any traffic or anything like that. It's really, really quite serene.
Yeah, we back in August, I think, me and my lady friend, we went to it was Green Day and oh god, who was the one that did You Can Something My Sweater, and anyway, it was like some 90s band thing, and she wanted to go, and I said okay, fine. And so we'd been in lockdown for a while, and it's been a while since I've been anywhere with like masses of people around me. And so we're at Citi Field up in Queens, and we were watching the show. It was a great show, and really while we were there in the stands, it was fine, but then it got to a point where I started feeling like the walls were closing in, right? Like, I guess more and more people were filing into the stadium. And by the time the show was over, I was just like, all right, let's get the fuck out of here. And so then, you got to do that shuffle out because everybody and their mom's trying to get out. And here, we had to go to the train. And of course the trains were packed. So it's just like I'm surrounded by these people. I'm not a tiny guy or anything, but it's like, I don't want these motherfuckers around me. So, if you don't want to be surrounded by a lot of people, don't move to New York. That's wait a minute, that's one of these. Yeah, the more you fucking know, man. Don't go to a place where it's crowded as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me check out the chat real quick. Charlie Brown's Rebellion. Hey, buddy. He says finally caught a live stream. I'm working out these technical things, so I got some new toys here, so I get to pop up chats every once in a while.
What's up, Charlie Brown?
Charlie Brown, awesome guy. Steve Wolfbrandt. I like to say it like that because that sounds like a great radio name. Steve Wolfbrandt in the mornings.
It does. Or a great 80s detective.
Steve Wolfbrandt as Chet Cummings.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just made this shit up. Chet Cummings. That sounds like a porn name. Mariana, how are you? Reef Breland, always holding it down out there for us. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, so we have the man, the myth, the legend, Robert Durden, on here this evening. And I'm wearing my Shazam shirt. And also, wait a minute, I got to pop up the disappointment cam so you can see the jammies. I have Spider-Man jammies and the Shazam. Yeah, the disappointment cam is when, no, you've done poorly. And it's all your fault.
I don't agree, man. I still think you're dressed better than Vosh, you know? You're less of a dork than Vosh wearing a tank top.
Wait a minute. I think we might have the Vosh angle here just for a second. Let's see this. Well, you know, these people that do not support the squad, they're all Nazis. And you know, just think there's like, you know, text of, you know, shitty people on the side there.
What evidence do you have that we shouldn't trust the CIA? That's what I tell you.
I know, right? There was like a baby Vosh kid. Did you see that? It was
Hunter Avalone, man. Yeah, dude. Oh, he's getting savage right now. He should, dude. He's like, what? Why? He's talking to Nico House, and he's talking about like why we shouldn't trust the CIA. And people call me crazy. Like these people are fucking in their own little worlds, are obviously paid or like in some way like co-opted by like the establishment. Like that's not a real thinker right there. He's not thinking through things. He's saying what he's being told to say.
I mean, how old is that kid? How old do you think?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
That kid looked young. That was like some Doogie Howser shit. Yeah, 12.
That would explain why Vosh likes him so much.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, sorry. Can we edit that out?
Yeah,
I'm
we get
so
the
much
crickets
trouble.
on that
I think
shit.
I just got you canceled, Uncle Warren.
Jesus Christ, man. We just started this show in the spring. God damn it. The hell?
Nobody's going to have me on their show anymore now.
Well, I did say anything goes on here, so, you know, I guess I should have really tempered that a little bit.
I should elaborate. I don't want to smear him like for real. Like I'm making fun of him for that dumbass shit he said on his show about how he thought the legal age for marriage should be 14.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm teasing him for. I'm not alleging that like he's into like, you know, 12-year-old boys or anything. Of course not. I'm just fucking busting his balls.
There was I watch Steve Poikonin's show Slow News Day in the mornings, right? I love that show. I'm glad he's doing that in the mornings too, by the way. But there's this one person, their name is Ebon, E-B-O-N or something. And apparently this person is really into the flat earth theory, right? So, and Steve was having some show. He wasn't even talking about flat earth or anything like that. He was talking about something totally different. And this kid says, I don't know, lady, gentleman, I don't know, but this person says, yeah, like, that's true. Just like so-and-so, how people don't believe the earth isn't flat. And I was like, oh boy. And I just had to go, tippy-typey, sorry, dude. Kind of a circle. And so he got a little triggered. So at that point, everybody had started making fun of him, and then he just started calling everybody triggered pedos. So apparently, anybody can be that, even if you think the earth isn't flat, that, you know, you're a Vouch kind of guy. So I'm not saying he is. Don't want to get sued for slander. Although, you know, I think,
I think you're good, man. The slander laws are tough in this country because TYT has gotten away with slandering Aaron Mate for like a fucking year now, and they haven't had legal repercussions either. So, you know, whatever. If the precedent is that we can slander each other, fine. Let's just slander every fucking buddy then. How about that? That'll put the left in new media in a good place, won't it? We all just following the footsteps of TYT, which is just saying whatever the fuck we want and slandering people left and right who are doing good journalism, right? That'll be good for the left.
Dude, I'm totally down for that. No, I you know what? Actually, hey, we can totally go there, man. Because I mean, as long as everybody can slander everybody, that's perfect. Because I got a few choice words for some.
And I'm not
folks.
for that. And I'm not for that. I would love for us to be able to have an honest conversation, but they started it. You know, like they're saying, Aaron Mate is an Assadist and a paid Russian bot because he did good reporting on Russiagate and the OPCW. And I think that, and I if I may, I think that Anna Kasparian has like a little crush on him, where she hates that she loves him. She hates that she. You can hear her like earrings rattling when she talks about him because she's so fucking mad that she's shaking.
It's like a Korean soap opera, man.
It is.
My lady friend, she's Chinese, and her mom is I think she's first generation. She came here from Taiwan, and she says her mom just watches Korean soap operas all the time. And we were watching this show, I think it's called Aquafina, Nora from Queens. And at first I was like, this is dumb. But then we started watching it. I was like, yeah, this is dumb on purpose. But it was really funny. So they had an episode where they were talking about Chinese soap operas and all the crazy shit. Like, they got like time travel and stuff like that. And like, all right, man, I could totally get into that. So I don't know why we just started talking about Korean soap operas. So this
that's okay.
The edibles starting to kick in. I don't know. Have you ever done edibles?
I have, yeah. They don't hit me that hard. I generally smoke a couple times a day, but I don't work on very heavy strains. I like to be able to like work and write. So I'm kind of like a sativa guy, a couple times a day type thing. And like if I really want to fall asleep and I'm having a rough day where I'm all stressed out, I'll have a small edible, and it usually helps me sleep, but not usually during the day. I'm pretty active during the day, and I don't like to have like a couple of pot brownies in my stomach during that.
Yeah, well, you're much more responsible person than I am. I don't have children and responsibilities at the moment. So, but the ones I get though, they're very mild though. I get them down at the bodega, since now New York can sell that shit. But we don't have dispensaries yet. So the next best thing is, have you ever seen, I don't know, like on TV or something, or maybe if you've been in one of the big cities, they have the weed mobiles that go around and they sell you like edibles and lollipops and stuff like that. You ever heard of those?
I have not, but they should take all of the old ice cream trucks and make them do that, and then you could have the ding 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 ding. That was the weasel. Not pop. You know what I'm saying? Like that. All the adults run outside the way the kids used to run outside of the ice cream truck. Oh, dude, that makes me happy that exists. That's cool.
2 spliffs, please.
Yeah, dude, I'd be out there.
Pot goes the weasel. I know, right? Even the dog's running out there. The dog knows it. He knows because he knows if the owner gets fed the pot, then that means that the dog's probably gonna have a feast later because the guy's gonna be so stoned he's just gonna be throwing food after food out. They're both just gonna be rolling around fat on the floor. But no, they have these trucks, the little vans, and they were actually doing this before it was like illegal for the recreational here, so I don't know how they got away with that, but you can order it on the internet now at this point. I'm old school. I still go through, even though I get the edibles down here, like if I want to get the smoky, I get it through my guy, and he's really cool, and he's always telling me, he's so great, and he tells me the names of all these things. Man, I got the Purple Urkel, I got the Scooby Dooby, I got the Crump and a Rip Rap and the Boop Boop Scooby the Bip Dap, and I'm like,
yeah, man. Back when I was in Colorado, you had like the best dispensaries ever. Now I'm in Illinois now, and they do have dispensaries, but there's nothing compared to out in Colorado, man. They had it was like El Dorado. They had different tiers and like THC contents up in like the high 30s, which is basically unheard of. But around here, I just kind of I got my my hookup enough for me to get through the day, and I try to focus on sativas because I like being awake during most of the day, and that actually kind of helps me. So, but
I hear you.
I understand, man. Back ever since we moved back, I do miss those dispensaries, man. It was pretty cool out there. Colorado's got it going on.
I've had a long time ago, it's probably over 20 years ago, somebody went out to Colorado This was before Colorado legalized it, but they were still growing weed out there. It's not like it just started when it was legal, right? So some buddies went out to Colorado and they came back with the Colorado Nuggets, the Nugs, and we were in North Mississippi, and around there you're not getting quality weed. We called it Alabama ditchweed. It was basically the 3 S's. Stems, sticks, it was sticks, shake, and seeds. But it's, as they say, it got you high. But this dude came back from Colorado, and we smoked those things. Holy shit! It was like going from cough medicine to Everclear in about 30 seconds. We were just like, oh, I had never been. I mean, I've been higher since, but that was the first time I had really just gotten,
it's tough, man. It's tough to grow down there. It's too humid. That's the thing. Like people, I used to actually grow when it was legal back in Colorado. I did some growing myself. It's really easy to dry it out there because it's arid, high altitude, stuff like that, which I imagine that's why a lot of it got started there. Is just so easy to grow. But you go down to Mississippi, like the deep South, the humidity, as you know, is huge, and you can't dry anything out, so things get moldy. You have shitty ass strains. It's real tough down there, man. Like you have to have a closed facility to really grow it effectively. So I feel you. I grew up near Detroit, actually. So okay. Like a lot of the stuff that we had was decent, but like no variety. It was like White Widow or White Widow Kush. It was like Jesus fuck. No variety. So that's kind of what we had to deal with. I understand, but I started smoking kind of later. As I was talking to Reef, I only started smoking when I was in my first year of grad school. So it basically was to help my anxiety, and that's what it is for nowadays. It's like with all the shit going on, to bring us full circle, man, it's the only way I can keep my my heart rate down nowadays when I'm watching all of these videos and looking at the news every day, and it seems like everything's kind of collapsing around us in slow motion. So it's sort of a way that I help cope with everything that's going on right now.
No, I hear you. I mean, I'm the same way. I mean, I when I was younger, it was like, woo, Cheech and Chong every day kind of thing. I was a daily, and but I was still functioning. So, but now if I try to do that, I couldn't even cross the street without getting hit by a car, pretty much. So I like to. I've never done edibles until this year. I was always like a smoker. And I mean, I've had edibles in the past, but it was just like kind of weirded me out. But this time I quit smoking cigarette tobaccos. I quit smoking cigarettes a long time ago. So my sister thought it was weird that I would smoke tobacco out of a water pipe. I said, well, they tell you at the place where they sell you this thing, they said it's for tobacco. But it was actually not. I mean, I would get like nice tobacco too, like this pouch for like $14, but it would last me like a week, and it tasted good, and it was filtered through the water, so it wasn't like smoking a cigarette where you're smoking paper. But anyway, I stopped that, and at the same time I said, well, I better stop the smoking pot because of that oral fixation. If I want to put the pipe in my mouth, I want to put the cigarette, the tobacco pipe in. So I switched to edibles, and it took me a while to get used to, but now I think everything is, I'm starting to figure it out, like when it hits, that sort of thing. So, and how much not to take. That's the big thing I learned, because one day I took one, and I said, nah, this isn't doing anything. I took another one. That ain't doing nothing. And then I took 3, and the next thing you know, I was somehow I'd made it out to the east end of Long Island. Don't ask me how. I have no way of knowing 100
that. Milligrams, and you're like, what the fuck? Am I out in space right now? What's going on, man? Yeah, no, that happened with my father-in-law, where his first time doing edibles, he's like, this doesn't do anything, and he didn't know that it takes like a second. Takes a while to kick in, so he popped 3 or 4, and then he was like in his armchair, like, where the fuck am I? I just took 70 grams or whatever, or 70 milligrams. Yeah, so no, it's okay. It's not bad for you. It's not bad.
Guys
for
like
you.
us,
it's very healing.
Well, we don't like to get fucked up like that, but we love to see others get fucked up like that. As long as you know everybody's safe, but it's just fun to watch. Oh hey, Convo Couch is here. What's up, y'all? Convo in the house. How are you? Appreciate y'all stopping by and saying hey. It just says the Convo Couch. We don't know which cushion on the couch showed up.
Doesn't matter.
May
It's cool.
It may be all three. Vegan Succubus. Oh, hello. How are you? I forgot to mention you. Like I said, I blame the edibles.
Speaking of weed, if I may, just one sec. I just want
please.
I have a theory that's going on right now. I think it's a lot of the like online commentators who are stoners or have been stoners in the past or have been like, you know, drug users are now becoming like the soothsayers and the philosophers and the people that are talking about the news in the most objective way right now. In a weird way, stoners are kind of taking over like lefty media. If you notice that Russell Brand, Jimmy Dore, a lot of these really popular, even Joe Rogan, like I don't agree with Joe Rogan on everything, but you can't deny his popularity. A lot of these people are just stoners and comedians that are really good at like doing what George Carlin and Richard Pryor used to do, which is like giving you the news, talking about the world in a way that's also funny, are really taking over the new niche online where a lot of people are looking to scratch their itch with their news, but they're also looking to be entertained. And it's a weird thing, man. I think that they're getting kind of, a lot of these stoners are essentially like taking over new online news. And it's actually a threat to the fucking establishment who are all a bunch of stiffs. They can't move into the same niche, the same paradigm that Russell Brand and Joe Rogan and Jimmy Dore, amongst other famous, very smart stoners who also talk about the news, have already taken over. So it's actually an interesting phenomenon. And, you know, that bodes well for people like you and I, mister.
Yeah, I know, right? I like to think the Godfather was Jon Stewart with The Daily Show, right? Yeah. I mean,
he was a stoner, the one, though? Does he smoke a lot of weed?
Dude, he was in Half Baked. He was.
Yeah, I do remember that. I just didn't know if that he was. I mean, I wish he had done The Daily Show while like smoking. That would have been sweet.
Oh, you mean like visibly smoking? Because I was about to say they probably like in the green room or maybe before he left the house. Hell, I don't know how those people, like rich people with weed. I don't know how they do it. They probably. Like a trolley, like in Mr. Rogers, that comes out. It's like bing, bing, and it's instead of the land of make believe, it just has this big giant blunt on there, and you're just, oh, thank you, Magic Weed Train. I'll see you later, motherfucker.
I'm not really sure a whole bunch of rich people are able to smoke weed. I think they do a lot more like pills and coke and stuff like that. If there were a whole bunch of rich stoners, they'd end up like Snoop Dogg, where they actually gave a fuck. Like all of these rich sociopaths, you can tell they're not smoking any weed because they don't give a fuck about their fellow man. But yeah. I digress. Yeah.
No.
They have all their like Percocet and everything wheeled out to them on their, you know, this on a silver platter by their butler or whatever. I get you.
Right. I mean, and I don't understand that either. Because first of all, I've never done cocaine in my life. I've never done like recreational pills or anything like that.
No,
I think
me either.
The closest I came to is I had a root canal once, and actually two quick stories. I had a root canal once, and they did so well there was no pain afterwards, but he still prescribed me Vicodin, I think. Yeah. So I was like, I'll try Vicodin, and I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't like. I liked the pot high better than I did the Vicodin. And then when I had a double hernia surgery out in Cali. And they also prescribed Vicodin, I believe. But I ended up staying at a friend's house. Her and her roommate took care of me. And and I didn't really have that much pain. Like I said, I've been very lucky with like root canals and hernias. The doctors, you know, they've done good. But if there was any pain, I just smoked a little pot. And then I was like, fine, you know, so... I'm scared of pills. I have a very addictive personality, and I'm afraid if I ever got into like any kind of recreational pill thing, or like one thing, I could never do heroin because I don't do needles. Even if I wanted to, I would not do needles. And I don't like to take anything that has the capability of making your heart explode. So that's why I don't do cocaine.
No coke.
I'm already hyper, you know. So, but
For sure.
I think what you said is it's very it rings true. I mean, a lot of people that we watch in the space that we're in, a lot of them are smokers too, you know, pot smokers. And I don't know, it's kind of like a truth serum sort of, isn't it? I mean, like if you smoke pot, you kind of feel more relaxed and you feel a little bit like more honest. You know, I don't know. Is that
not just more honest, but I think more like, you know, you're a pacifist generally, and you start to think about the world in a more objective way. So a lot of these people who are past, like Russell's a past heroin user, but he's very poignant in the way that he looks at the world. And sometimes it takes a little bit of, you know, substance here or there to open your mind up that way. It's all the fucking stiffs that have been, you know, corralled by our capitalistic system to be the Tucker Carlsons and the Rachel Maddows and the Stuart Varneys and the, you know, Brian Stelzers of the world, man. You know, those motherfuckers aren't doing anything except for, you know, occasionally what we're talking about here with the pills or rich people drugs, man. But yeah, you actually were talking about something interesting. Opioid addiction could largely be avoided if we legalized marijuana in this country, which is, I imagine, one of the big reasons that Joe Biden doesn't want to do that, even though he can via executive order, by the way, unilaterally, does not need Congress, is because he's in the pockets of big pharma, and they stand to lose billions if something like weed gets legalized, and it can be used for, like you said, pain relief. You know, there's also treatment with nausea, with chemotherapy, which you get chemotherapy, you get very, very sick. You can have that nausea treated a lot of times with marijuana, but they have very expensive drugs they'll give you that are anti-nausea medication that they stand to lose millions of dollars off of. So that's probably why Joe Biden won't do this, even though it would help everybody. I mean, not just people medically, but I mean, dude, why don't we just, if I'm king of the world, we're crop dusting the entire United States thrice daily with crop dusters full of THC to just calm everybody the fuck down.
Ooh.
You know, as Bill Hicks, you remember Bill Hicks? Yeah, what Bill Hicks's joke used to go, he goes, marijuana should not be illegal, it should be mandatory. Everybody would chill the fuck out. If you're at a party and there's people getting into a fight, are they drunk or are they smoking weed? And the whole crowd goes, they're drunk. Goddamn right, because you can't ever get in a fight when you're on weed. It's physically impossible. So, that's the old joke, but he's exactly right. That's why he's one of my favorites too. But like, dude, why don't we do that? Joe Biden won't do it via executive order because Big Pharma owns him, and they stand to lose tens of billions on opioids.
Yeah, I mean, well, they own the party, and then the party owns Joe. So that's how that works, exactly. You know, because, you know, Joe's not making decisions on his own at this point.
No.
And
don't quote me, but I think he is. I'm fairly certain that he is actually the biggest recipient of Big Pharma money in the history of politicians. And if he's not number one, he's number two. Obama is either one or two, I think. So like he's bought and paid for. The donors own him, and they own the party as well. So that's why we can't have nice things like marijuana, legalized weed, which helps so many people.
There was I saw a video on YouTube probably about a year or so ago. People with I think there was people with epilepsy. It was what does Michael J. Fox have? He has
Parkinson's.
He has Parkinson's. It was somebody with Parkinson's. That's what it was. Because they were like, you know, shaking, moving, doing the whole business, and dude lights up, and like probably within about 30 seconds, he was like really making wild movements, right? And then probably within about 30 seconds, he was hands by his side, and he was just like, you know, and I was like.
And if it turns out, and I've seen evidence that it does help with Parkinson's, then why aren't they using it with Joe Biden?
Right?
Oh,
I mean,
sorry. I'm gonna take that joke back.
Yeah, you get that. Yeah. Jesus, man.
This was
a great last show.
To Joe Biden.
This hang on a second. Disappointment for canceling my show. This will be our last show tonight. It was fun. Everybody have a great weekend. Wash your ass.
This keeps happening to me. I go on people's shows and they suddenly get canceled.
I'm just being a silly Billy. We're all good. Hey, listen.
To be fair, I don't know that Joe has Parkinson's, but as somebody that has a doctorate, and I learned about a lot of this in neurology, I took like 15 credits of neurology back in the day in grad school. He does exhibit a lot of the symptoms of someone who is in early stage Parkinson's. My own grandfather who died of it, he slipped and fell and bumped his head. I cared for him for 3 or 4 years, and Joe and he have very similar speech patterns. Their chin goes like this every once in a while. They have the shuffling gait. So of course I don't know for sure, but remember, I do have a doctorate, and I spent time with a lot of people that I know that have had Parkinson's. So, Joe Biden does have some of those early onset symptoms right now that we can see. So I'm not saying it's true or not, but I don't want to get you canceled in that way,
No, you're fine. It's obvious to everybody that there's something wrong, right? We just don't know what it is, but there's definitely something is afoot at the Circle K. There is, there's something is going horribly wrong there, and I think that's what's going on too. So you have Kamala was a wrestler back in the 80s, I think. I'm pretty sure Kamala. Yeah, it was Kamala. So anyway, Kamala, with her like 20-something% approval rating, she's not going to step in for him. And now, what is it? What was Steve talking about this morning? Like it's like the TED Talks kind of thing, but no, now Hillary Clinton's doing it. Did you hear about that? She's
masterclass.
The masterclass, yeah. And she was talking. She was talking about. She gave. I don't know. I don't think it was that video. I think it was like some sort of MSNBC video. She was giving her acceptance speech if she would have won, and then she. Can
you fucking imagine the ego that it takes to do that? It's weird. It's like she loves herself so much that she feels the need to go out there and do this as if people want to watch it. But beyond that, it's like, dude, it almost feels like they want to bring attention back to it so they can keep doing the Russiagate thing, because it's all bullshit. We all know that the reason that Hillary Clinton lost was because she sucked, everybody hated her, and Trump ran on a populist message. But she's so butthurt to have been beaten by a buffoon in a clown wig that she has to go out there and run with the fucking Russiagate thing. So it's like she keeps bringing attention back to this for some reason, even though you'd think anybody that didn't have a massive fucking ego would be like, this is my most embarrassing moment. I was beaten by a clown, and I had some big problems that caused me to be beaten by said clown. You'd think that she would want to just like move past it. But no, she keeps doubling down and keeps talking about this shit as if Russia interfered, which we know they didn't, and feeding the fire that is Russiagate still today. It's like, dude, just go the fuck away. Everybody hates you. That's why you lost. That's why this is stupid. So, oh my God. Yeah. Is there anybody like less likable on the planet going out there and tooting their own horn more than fucking Hillary Clinton?
There are a lot of shitty people out there, and even them, I might put just, a pubic hair above her as far as likability.
What is her masterclass in? Losing elections to obvious idiots? Like, what are we going to have now? Like, we're going to have fucking Amy McGrath, who lost against Mitch McConnell, teaching a class on how to win an election. It's like, dude, we pumped $110 million into your ass so you could get publicly horsewhipped by Mitch McConnell. What the fuck? We live in a cartoon. We live in a very cartoonish world, which makes my job as a satirist very, very easy. But like, what in God's name could Hillary Clinton possibly be teaching a master class on now?
How to keep hot sauce in your purse. Scaring children at Halloween.
Yeah, right, that she could definitely do. Nancy Pelosi could teach a master class on how to make ice cream from the blood of poor children. Like, I don't fucking know.
Make sure you wring them out. Make sure you wring them out. You don't want to waste the blood.
She's got about 25 gallons in her fridge right now.
I know, right? She's up against it like, there's just ice cream in there. It's really, it's untasty ice cream. It's just horrible. But this is my theory, okay? So Hillary's back. with a brand new invention. Doon, 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 doon. And so she's yakety, 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 yakety because she's trying to stay in some sort of relevance, right? Even if you hate her, you're still talking about her, kind of thing. Case in point here. This is my theory about what what went down, or what was supposed to go down in 2016, right? So, and I'm pretty sure I heard this from other people, and probably other people believe this, but so Bill had convinced Trump, you gotta run for president, all right, and this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna be the heel, and she's gonna come out, and we're gonna make sure that you're the nominee. I gotta quit doing that voice. I'm sorry. So he said, you're gonna be the nominee, and Hillary's gonna run against you because there's no way she's gonna lose to you, right? And he was probably, and if he knew he was gonna make a quick buck or something, Trump was probably like, fine, I'll do it. And so he runs for president, right? Goes down the escalator, which the Simpsons predicted 20 years ago. Freaky.
They do that all the time because they're good satirists, or back in the day anyway.
Well, yeah, back in the day. But so, and that was the thing, right? He was supposed to lose. But people hated Hillary. What she thought, that people loved her, right?
Yep.
But people don't love her. The reality came crashing down through votes in the right places where enough electoral college votes were tallied to where, it was Donald Trump. But she could always say, well, this is the popular vote. Something's wrong, Russians, blah, 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 and here we are. So I think that's what went down.
Well, what you're talking about is the Pied Piper strategy. That came out with the leaked emails that they had, in fact, the DNC had, in fact, planned to try to promote Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and one other person who I don't remember, but it was definitely, they tried to promote them because they thought they were the most easily defeatable. But what they didn't take into account was how much everybody fucking hates Hillary Clinton, and how little work she was willing to do actually going to the Midwest states, which is where during the debates, Trump hammered her on NAFTA because of Bill Clinton, and NAFTA decimated the Midwest, that trade agreement. So Trump battered her on NAFTA repeatedly during the debates, and that landed with a bunch of Midwesterners, and Trump basically swept the Midwest because of that. And that was actually the reason that he won, despite losing the popular vote, is that he basically whooped Hillary Clinton's ass on NAFTA. And she's also, it doesn't help that, of course, she's an absolutely loathsome human being. I call her the devil. I've called her the devil on my show before. She's one of the top 5 most disliked people in the country, and for good reason, man. Nobody likes her. So that's why Trump won, and she was butthurt that she lost to a buffoon who she herself and the DNC decided was easily beatable, and they got their wish, and she still lost. And the Democrats are not beyond this. Again, bringing us full circle to what we were talking about before, 10 minutes ago, is that part of the reason I think that Hillary Clinton is actually being promoted on things like Masterclass, and she's reading her speech that she would have given if she had lost, is because the Democrats see the writing on the wall with how shitty the party is doing right now, and there are no alternatives to Joe Biden, who's basically brain dead. So they tried a couple of weeks back trying to promote Kamala. It doesn't work. She has zero charisma. Everybody hates her. Her approval rating's 28%, and the more she's in the spotlight, the more people hate her. So now they're floating ideas like Pete Buttigieg. That's not going to work either. And I think that they're using Hillary as their backup to Pete Buttigieg, or the backup to the backup. They're keeping her in the wings. They did with Mike, like they did with Mike Bloomberg back during the primaries, where they're like, if no one else, we got to have this person step in so that, a real progressive can't win. So it's weird. And again, it's indicative of how little they are self-aware of how hated all of these fucking people are. Kamala and Hillary are widely hated. Pete, not as much, but still nobody fucking likes him. So they're like, oh, well, the backup to our shitty candidate is another shitty candidate who's a shittier candidate. And that's dude, none of this is ever going to fucking work. And in 2024, it's my hope that it'll be a who's who of really, really shitty Democrats that nobody is inspired by.
Yeah.
Meaning I don't want Bernie to run again because that would leave a whole bunch of disenfranchised voters to consider third party and to look elsewhere beyond the duopoly. So if they want to run Hillary Clinton and boost her, that's fine with me. If they want to boost up people like Howard Schultz, the fucking CEO of Starbucks, they can run.
Yeah.
What was the other fucking billionaire that was a Tom something or other? Tom Steyer. They want to run Tom Steyer again. Fucking have Howard Schultz, Tom Steyer, Hillary Clinton, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris up there. It's like, it's all shit. Everybody's going to go, that's all shit. And then they're going to want to go to the third party. So that's actually fine with me. The more they try to revitalize Hillary Clinton's image, the more ridiculous they all look. So, have at it, you fucking idiots.
I know it's going to be a buffet of buffoons, right?
Exactly.
It's just
that's very good alliteration.
Buffet of buffoons, and it's not
like
and it is all you can eat. But I think what you are correct in the fact that they're going to have all these shitty people because these politicians are surrounded by shitty yes people, right? Yep. They're surrounded by these bubbles and I think that was part of the reason why Hillary was so upset. Like, she couldn't imagine losing to Trump, but in reality, it's like if she had actually talked to people outside of her bubble, she would have known how unpopular she was. And I think that goes for all of these people that's going to be running 22, 24, right? I mean, who's going to... I hope he doesn't run again, but if Bernie ran again, I would say he would be the only one who is good out of that group, and we've seen how terrible he is, Well,
and he'll be too old. I don't think he will run again. I hope he doesn't, because I worry that if he does run again through the Democratic Party, it's again just sheepdogging us further into the Democratic Party, which I no longer see as reformable. If Bernie ran, I would love to see him run third party. Now, I've been saying Green Party. That's been kind of the party I've gotten behind, but I've seen as of today, they're like they're pro-vaccine now, like trying to
and mandates too.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, fucking Green Party. So I don't know what third party we should rally behind, and I don't really care. But it would be cool if Bernie were to just basically say, fuck the Democratic Party. I'm going to run for this third party specifically to get them the funding and to get them on the debate stage. Do what Ralph Nader did or what Ross Perot did. Yeah. Specifically run spoiler on purpose, because Trump's going to win anyway. Anybody that doesn't think that, they're out of their fucking minds. They're in a bubble that says that the neolibs can do no wrong, and that's a very small group of people. Trump is likely to win again. So it makes sense. The pump is primed for a third party run, because the Democratic Party is historically hated, and the Republican Party isn't liked all that much more except by their base. So there's a ton of votes up in the air. Yeah. It would be cool if Bernie was just like, fuck it, I'm running third party. I'm just going to get them on the map. And by the time you're not going to be president, you're not going to win, but you will solidify a third party as an option. I don't think Bernie's going to do that, though, because he came out and said specifically that he doesn't want to run third party or independent because he doesn't want the Nader treatment, which is they basically ruined Ralph Nader's life and have demonized him ever since. So I don't know if he's got the spine to do it. I would love him to do it because he's got the name recognition to help a third party. But I think Bernie's firmly planted within the Democratic Party. So I think it would actually be detrimental for him to run within the Democratic Party. I mean, how many fucking times do you have to be cheated for right? Like, quit playing the same fucking game?
There's this old Sam Kinison joke. He said he was talking about love, and he said, "Oh, love's come along." He said, "Oh, this is a new love. You've never seen me before." And then, love lied to me again. What is he said? She says, "I wouldn't lie to you 10 times in a row, fuckhead. Come on." Yeah. So
I like Sam Kinison.
Oh, Sammy. Oh, I know. Everybody thinks he's in hell. He's in heaven. He was so good. He was one of my influences coming up. First time I heard Sam Kinison was, I think it was like 89. I was freshman. No, I was like second or third year in college, and I heard Louder Than Hell, and I was like, This has changed my life forever. And I'd come home and my parents were like, "Why are you screaming?" And I'm like, say it! Oh! And
that's pretty good, man. That's pretty good impression.
You get the old man voice, and then it's like, if you can do that, you can do the Joe Biden, I'm trying not to crap my pants voice, then you can do the Sam Kinison. It's just like another octave up, I think. So,
yeah, man, he's one of those guys where I think, like we were just talking earlier, if he were alive today, same with Carlin and Pryor, they would have the most popular podcasts on the fucking planet. Because they told you the truth about things. Now, Kinison wasn't necessarily like a satirist so much, like talking about politics and life. He talked a little bit about life. He was very funny. But like if George Carlin and a couple of these other hicks were alive today, man, trust me, they would be doing the news but ripping jokes nonstop, and they would be in Rogan territory right now. We have this weird new paradigm where a lot of people like to get their news from people that give them a little flair along the way. And that, I think, was started largely by mainstream media. You have Rachel Maddow going out there and basically like telling you bullshit. She's lying. She's giving her own opinion on most things, particularly Russiagate. Tucker Carlson does the same thing. Both of these two people have had to argue in court recently and successfully that nobody that is of no normal person watches their show and takes them seriously as journalists, right? They won both of those cases. So what that tells you, those are very popular shows in mainstream media. There's a new paradigm happening where like you can do the news and also make it entertaining. And that's why people like Rogan, Jimmy Dore, Russell Brand, those are the ones I go to, and why I think that Carlin and Hicks, if they were still alive today, would have some of the most popular news channels or people that talk about the news on the planet. And that's a good thing, I think. I think that people are kind of rejecting the old suits, the button-up people. They can tell they're fucking lying. So even the people on mainstream media who are more like that are rejected more than Rachel Maddow or Tucker Carlson, who are much more sensationalizing. But we have that as well now with a whole bunch of people that are comedians who tell the truth, who do the news, in the people that I've just mentioned. And that's a good thing. I think that that's changing the way that we consume our news in this country. And it's not a bad thing, because a lot of these comedians, the reason that they tell the truth and the reason they became comedians in the first place, they like making people happy. They like making people laugh, and they like Chappelle, in a way, also like bringing the conversation to touchy subjects and bringing the conversation to things that we don't get from mainstream media. So it's pretty cool, man. I actually think it's a pretty cool trend that's happening right now. And I'm all for it, man. I'm not 100% fans of Rogan, but I mean, it makes me happy to see that he's doing better than fucking CNN, who lies way more than he does.
Well, yeah, and he's called them out as such too, and rightly so.
Sure.
I think guys like Rogan, who Rogan's not trying to sell you anything, right? I mean, he talks about like all the crazy shit that he takes, like the supplements and stuff or whatever, but he ain't selling the shit, right?
Right.
So when people, this is what I'm saying, like a lot of people like you and I and like all of our all the media that we watch, they're not trying to sell you anything, right? As far as like products are concerned, they'll say, hey, look, if you float us some money, if you could donate to us, we'd appreciate it. Because this kind of gig, if you're not working like a regular job, it could be expensive, so, you need like some mutual aid, which is fine, but you got like I used to watch Sam Cedar's show, Majority Report, a long time ago. And he would always just be selling like 2 or 3 of these garbage products. And I'm like, what the fuck is it? He was selling like cereal. And that's what I always do. Every time he says some dumb shit on Twitter, I always bring up like, dude, you sell like cardboard cereal. What the fuck's wrong with you, man? You're like the biggest, you're like a cereal grifter. And, not like SERIAL, like, Captain Crunch.
Buy this t-shirt with Sam Cedar's face on it. From a distance, we can't tell if it's Sam Cedar or Rachel Maddow.
get a great emoji of this shithead or this shithead. You know,
a coffee mug with Emma Viglin's face on it.
Exactly.
Who doesn't want that?
Now, my buddies up at Hardlands Media, they're selling mugs, right? And that's great. And they do silly commercials on air for like, this tape makes drinks 20% tastier. But they're selling mugs, right? And you know, people say, well, I got a merch store if you want to go check it out. But they're not like, please give us money, give us money, give us money, give us money, you know? And so, like, you got somebody who's doing that all the time. Well, you're not going to fucking listen to them about the news. You don't have that trust level. It's like, yeah, there's just like your spidey senses are tingling, you know? But when you're like listening to somebody that ain't trying to sell you shit, you're more apt to soak in the knowledge, right? And to be more receptive to what they're saying, because there is a little bit more of a trust factor. You don't think of them as like a slimy snake oil salesman.
The unfortunate fact is for Sam is that he's already lost that trust factor and his show is dead. So he can merchandise as well as he wants. He can do that all the time, and it's never going to be a big deal, because I don't know if you know this about Sam Seder and the Majority Report. They got like 1.2 million subs, but they average like 20,000 views or less per video. So they're like one of the only channels that is like, I mean, they're worse than TYT. They're like bottom of the barrel, where about 1 out of every 100 people that subs to them actually watches their show. So it's not interesting. They're merchandising the living shit out of it. There's no, good commentators that are at all entertaining or honest. Like, why would you tune in, man? It's just, it's basically like an infomercial where they'll also sell you some CIA talking points along the way. Like, that's what they fucking have over at the Majority Report.
You're exactly right, because the numbers are down because people are seeing through their bullshit, right? So what are they doing? They're trying to sell as much shit as they can, and they're attacking people like Jimmy Dore, because when you do that, you get clicks, baby. Everybody wants to see those videos.
I'll debate you. Yes, right. What the fuck?
With the eye, what's the fuck? I always say like they got the laser eye thing, like I will destroy you with my mind. And it's like, no man, dude.
If Sam Seder wants to debate somebody, re-debate Bree Joy on Force the Vote, and you can get your ass whooped again. How about that?
Yeah, I was about to say he lost his ass pretty well. He may not want to he may not want to go concave.
Yeah, for sure. And Bree Joy has 1/25th the amount of subs and outdoes him in views. So go fuck yourself, Sam. How about that?
Hey, Jimmy Dore's doing he's doing 10, 11,000 people in a live stream. And
that's like the average total views of a Majority Report video. Exactly,
because it's just like a bunch of egghead shit libs that have no idea how poor people live. He's a voice on Bob's Burgers, for God's sakes, and he's pretty much married to MSNBC. I think somebody said he wasn't on Peacock. Yeah, somebody said he wasn't on Peacock anymore, but I think he is. Him and his little merry band of shitties, I think they're all on there too, in some form or fashion. But yeah, so that's the game plan. It's like try to get these clicks. And while you're getting these clicks, or maybe you're getting like these suckers to watch, like you sell them that stupid cereal or whatever the fuck you're peddling. It's just I mean, they say grift has been overused. I think it has, but that is a serious grift right there. Yeah. Is to make somebody believe that this other person who is wildly popular with like various segments of the political spectrum. I made a video about this today too, how like all these people are coming after like truth tellers like him, and like I said, everybody either likes him or dislikes him, or somewhere in the middle, and that's fine. He gets some things wrong, but a lot of times he tries to correct it if he is found out to be wrong, that's why I like watching him a lot. But I understand people who may not be their taste. Maybe they want it because he is pretty coarse. And my sensitivities went out the window like years ago, because I'm Gen X. We're pretty much dead inside. We're the latchkey kids, the OGs. So we're like, nothing affects us. It's the next generations.
If you had insultable sensibilities, Robert Durden would not be invited onto your show, and I know that. And if I may make a joke, I haven't made this joke about Sam before. I had it written down, and I figured I'd just drop it on you now. Sam does do quite a bit of like pro-establishment propaganda and CIA propping up and stuff like that. So the CIA and stuff like that in this country, they do tend to push like the surveillance state, and that worries me very much. So that is good for Sam, though, because the more that we get surveilled in the future, he can change his show's name from Majority Report to Minority Report. And it'll work just fine on 2 levels because no one's watching it. And also it happens to be like Philip K. Dick's Minority Report. So there's a new niche for Sam coming up in 5 years right there, if I may make a quick play on words.
And he only has to change like a couple of letters too, so it fits the budget.
Yep. Exactly. The MR, he's just going to be the Minority Report because no one's fucking watching, and he's propping up the surveillance state, which is exactly like the old book.
It really is frustrating to see. I mean, I don't know, like some of the older folks out there, they've caught on, but some of them haven't. Some of them, or maybe some of them, like some of these older shit libs, they probably know that these people are full of shit, but it's like, that's their people. They're going to stick with them. And, you know, because they got a good thing going, you know. They're not poor, you know. They're not struggling. And so everything's good for them. And, you know, they don't want these, like, socialists and communists and all these poor people and workers getting together and fucking up their good thing, you know. But, I mean, these people aren't stupid, you know. They know this thing.
The comfortable part of our population is always going to be very happy watching those channels. That's just the way that it is because they're okay with the status quo. Luckily for us, that's a huge minority. Very few people are feeling comfortable nowadays. There's no middle class. There's very much more like an elite class that has a very small middle class, which is like the PMCs, the professional managerial class that kind of does their bidding for them. And then there's the rest of us, which is 90%. I think recently we found out for the first time in the history of the United States, the 1% is wealthier than the entire middle class entirely, which means that we really don't have much of a middle class. It's also a testament to how wealthy the wealthy really are. So in the end, man, these channels that count on wine tasting soccer moms for their viewage, they're going extinct. And I intend on making that go faster. I'm like a catalyst in that reaction where I really want to encourage people to not watch that show, but also the way I keep them from watching that show is basically by educating them on the bullshit that these people are putting out. You know, TYT and Sam Cedar do a whole bunch of disingenuous propaganda. Russiagate is something I go after routinely, but also the OPCW. Sam Cedar said that force the vote wasn't the right thing to do for numerous reasons. And then when Bree went on his show and debated him about force the vote, he ended up admitting that the reason that he was really against it was Jimmy Dore was for it. And he was the one that came up or that was pushing it first. So you don't have any real legitimate opinions. You're just against things because Jimmy Dore's got his name attached to it, which that just makes you a bitch.
And they've done enough of a hit job on Jimmy over the years to where that still gets traction for them in some way, but it's always temporary. They're too small.
They're too small. Like they have more subs than Jimmy, but Jimmy has 5 times their viewership.
Right, and in fact, you know, they've been like getting funny with the numbers with Jimmy's too. So Jimmy probably has way more than what YouTube is telling him. You know, but. These people, they'll get these little bumps because they're mentioning Jimmy's name because that's the trick. It's not just their little shit lib fans that go like, oh, I want to feed on the hatred. It's sometimes it's people like not us in particular, but sometimes people like us are like, you know, it's a car wreck. I gotta go check this out. Let's see what this motherfucker's saying about our boy or that kind of thing. Right. You know. So I always tell people, no, don't do that. That's it's you know, it's just like dude from Star Wars. It's a trap. Don't do it, right? You go over there, all you're doing is feeding the beast, right? They get views, and they get the hours, that adds to their hours viewed. You know what? That's like free advertising. Do not watch these people when they go after like your favorites, all right? It's a fucking trap.
That's a new play that they're doing over and over. Sam's not just the only one doing it. TYT basically started that shit by poking Jimmy. And if you noticed, recently Cenk challenged Joe Rogan to a fight. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Like, he was like, I think I can beat Joe Rogan in a fight. It's like, dude, you are the most sensationalist, propagandist piece of shit in the world, because we all can tell what you're doing here. Your irrelevance, you're trying to fight your own irrelevance by going out and picking fights with people that are actually popular. Kyle Kalinske has also done this recently. Why is that? He went on Vosh's show recently and talked, and he basically poked at Jimmy as an anti-vaxxer, which he's not. He's anti-mandate, by the way. But why does Kyle do that? Why? Because he sees that Sam Cedar and TYT have gotten a little bit of extra clicks by going out there and poking the bear that is Jimmy Dore, or Joe Rogan's not going to respond to you the same way Jimmy will, but they understand that they can get a lot of extra clicks by simply being controversial with channels that are actually popular, and they have no chance of ever really on substance or on the value of their content beating Jimmy or Russell or Joe Rogan or a lot of these other channels. So what do? They go out and they challenge them to fights, or they poke at them. It's all a play. And that's why I kind of like, in one of my episodes earlier about Jimmy, I asked him, I was like, dude, just let TYT go out in the forest and die. They're bleeding out right now. Every time you talk about them, you're giving them extra clicks. And God bless, he actually has stopped kicking the corpse recently. He went after them relentlessly on the Aaron Mate stuff, which he should have. But dude, he absolutely fucking crippled TYT. Now, Jimmy, if I may, it is very fun to go after Kyle Kalinske. Maybe we could team up and we could savage him together. He's the next guy in line. I've been doing it for a fucking year. It feels pretty good, and it's pretty easy because he's a huge douche nozzle who's wrong on a whole bunch of stuff. So, Jimmy, TYT is dead. Let's put Kalinske out of his misery now. And I heard that he actually did go after him in like a premium, like Rockfin exclusive one. I don't know that for sure, but that would be cathartic for me to see, because he's next in line, man. And me and Savvy Sabs have been absolutely destroying Kalinske over the last like 3 months. I don't know if you saw that, but every time we go out there and bash him, he gets a ton of views. So we should just do that, because these people are not honest. And the only reason they're going out there and poking at us is because they know their channels are on life support. They're just trying to get out a little bit longer, man. And, you know, TYT, no matter what we do, they're basically circling the drain. Same thing with Cedar. Yeah. I think Kalinske is next up. I think he's next up, and his numbers are already dipping. So let's put him down too.
These are like the old school telethons. It's like, we need some dough. Let's go after Dore, right? Clickety click, like, click. That's a fundraiser.
Yep. How easy was it for Vosh to goad Kyle into insulting Jimmy? It was super easy, because Kyle was looking for a reason anyway, because he knows that it helps him. It's like, dude, he's not going to stand up for you, Jimmy. Go kick the crap out of him. Do the same thing you did to TYT. We'll smoke him. And then a lot of these old guard that don't give a shit about actually helping people organize, that are for democratic reformation over third party and mutual aid and stuff like that, they need to go extinct. That's what I do on my show all the time, by the way. My 2 or 3 most popular videos of all time are for laying waste to Kyle Kalinske.
Now, hang on just a second, because we're going to talk about your show in just a second. I just want to shout out the peeps in the chat. Daryl from Black and the Empire, one of our
what's up, Daryl?
Indie News Network brothers, and brothers in heart too, always and forever. Gamer for life. How you doing, brother? Mariana, and I guess everybody. Noli D and Colin. Yay!
What's up, guys?
I feel all the love in the chat. I hope hopefully it's not those chicken wings I had earlier today, because that may be a sign of like something medical, and I don't want that. But what I do want is to talk to you about Political Fight Club that all the kids are talking about in the webs of inner, and I like to watch. Shh, don't tell our secret. But I like to I like and share it too, because I like to share all you guys because you have such great content, and I like to just get it out there as far as I can. And one of the things that has intrigued me about your show, what makes it so unique, is your political fight club and the rules for the political fight club. Right? You have like actual rules for the political fight club. Are there like a whole bunch? Can you name them for us here tonight?
There are 8 rules, and this is just for. I need to make sure that everybody understands the rules of Fight Club are for like good political debate in your normal lives, like how you should treat people, how you should talk about politics. And the first rule is you talk about politics, which is the opposite of Fight Club, but I get it. You got to talk politics. Rule number 1. Rule number 2 is know your opponent. Rule number 3 is, let's see here. No, rule number 4 is keep the debate on topic. Rule number 3 is know your shit. There we go. And then, so rule number 4 is keep the debate on topic. Rule number 5 is admit when you're wrong. And that's the most important rule, guys. If somebody catches you in like a bad argument or an immoral argument, admit when you're wrong. Rule number 6 is keep your calm. Rule number 7 is don't sell out. That's a big one too, meaning for us online right now, don't go the way of TYT. Don't sell your soul. Just
don't sell cereal. Don't sell cereal.
Yeah, exactly. And then the 8th and final rule is don't turn on your neighbor or love your neighbor. And I added that one recently. That was a recent addition because I saw that there was a lot of divisiveness in lefty political content. A lot of people going after each other. And I want everybody to remember, basically the rule is poor people don't turn on each other, because that's something the establishment is going to use against us in a large way, not just as media content creators, but as people. They're going to try to turn you on your neighbor. No, don't hate your neighbor. Do what Jesus said. Try to love your neighbor. And if you can't love your neighbor, don't hate them. Don't turn on somebody just because they have a different political label than you. Just, try to love each other, and that will help us stay together. So, I know that was a little bit scatterbrained, but it's like, 1, talk politics, 2, know your opponent, 3, keep the debate on topic. It's ways for us to talk to each other and not insult each other if we have disagreements. So that's kind of what Political Fight Club's all about. It's about trying to come together and actually talk politics without tearing each other's throats out. Now, A lot of people will say, Rob, you tear the throats out of other YouTubers and politicians all the same. Yes, but this isn't necessarily rules for like YouTube. I'm talking directly to those people who will never fucking listen to me. Like when I go after AOC or Joe Biden, they're not going to listen to me. So I try to insult them and call out their bullshit as best I can to get like people to watch my show. But in actual content, or in terms of like actually having conversations on the street with people, I believe that you can keep the debate on topic. You can admit when you're wrong. You can not hate on the person that you're having a conversation with. And if we can do that, then we will unite with people from all different labels, all sides of the political spectrum, and that's what we really need to do. So that's why I put the rules in there. They're basically like a safeguard so that people don't sell out and so that they keep the debate on what actually needs to be talked about instead of obfuscating, instead of straw manning other people, instead of gaslighting. If we can do that, we really would have a better discourse. So that's what it's really all about. And I don't think I'm going to change the rules. I like them exactly the way that they are.
Charlie Brown's Rebellion said he appreciates your book club readings too, and I've seen I don't know. I'm not much of a reader because I used to read. I used to work in bookstores and I used to read all the time, and I think I got burned out. But I've gotten more into the electronic mediums now, so that's where my fun lies. But I think you're one of the first people I've ever seen that's actually like tried to place natural, not put guidelines on things, but to actually bring them to the front, right? To say, look, they're obvious. We do it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. It's a natural way of communicating with people. And keeping people honest too, right? Like recently, we had, the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing that kind of divided people up. You have certain people who are still on the fence about like the boogie woogie boop boop scootily boop boops with the they don't want it mandated. Some people do, some people don't. It's these little things that are testing us too, right? Like, for the most part, like you said, don't you be cool with people. Poor people don't go after each other because that's just a tool of the establishment. But it's these little tests they throw in to see, because it's true, but then it's like, oh, wait a minute, this person doesn't believe that, and that's an important thing to believe, although we believe these other things together, you know what I mean? So it's like they're always trying to exploit some sort of crack or fissure that they can get that little bit in there, that wedge, and then, so how do we stay strong though? How do we maintain that? How do we keep these how do we keep these issues from dividing us up like it's been trying to do recently?
Just know your stuff, man. That's like I said, that's the second or third rule. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've recapped them, but know your stuff and don't lose your calm when you're talking with people. Remember that the average person that you talk to on the street, or even a family member, if you're cool with them and just give them stats and just kind of have a conversation with them, you'd be surprised how many minds you can change. Those people are not indicative of the mainstream media pundits that you always see that are bought and paid for, or the aforementioned, YouTubers that I've mentioned before. They're honest actors. They really do believe what they believe, and they may be ignorant, but you can always shatter that glass for them if you give them stats about Medicare for all, or how bad Joe Biden's doing, or how useful free public college could be. They're very reasonable people. We often forget that even though the mainstream media is insanely divisive and completely divided along party lines, that a lot of people are reasonable regardless of their label. So if you talk to them in a calm way and really don't be aggressive, just really try to understand what they're saying. A lot of times, and you keep the debate on topic and don't gaslight each other, don't straw man, just try to talk about what actually matters. A lot of times you'll find yourself changing your own mind, but also changing other people's minds. And that's what I'm trying to set up. There's so many bad actors out there nowadays. And this is why I go after TYT and all of the lefty YouTubers. They're disingenuous and they take a lot of money. TYT, we know for sure that they took a bunch of Katzenberg cash, $20 million. So they changed their narrative after they took that money. So we know that they're not having a conversation on good faith grounds. So if anybody that you know in your personal life doesn't have that Katzenberg cash, they're reasonable enough to a lot of times change their mind. So if we can talk to people in our normal lives about this stuff and know your stuff, you can watch YouTube channels, read like I do, read some, newspaper articles or online articles or whatever, educate yourselves, and then you have normal conversations about this stuff. Don't be aggressive. You'd be surprised what you can get done. Those people are not indicative or the same types as the hyper-partisan elitists that, they see everything through red and blue. They see everything through red and blue. So we can avoid that by just remembering we don't have to hate each other, and we don't have to be afraid of each other just based on our labels. And if you follow those rules of Political Fight Club, a lot of times you'll find yourself changing your mind and changing other people's minds. So that's what I want. I'm trying to be a catalyst for political conversation in this country. And I hope that the conclusion that we can come to as a big group of poor people is that the rich are the problem. Yep. This is not red versus blue. It's the haves versus the have-nots. Yep. And as soon as we figure that out, the time is over for the elites. It's over for the oligarchy. But that's what we have to do. We have to figure that out for ourselves and realize that we don't need to be afraid of each other.
Yeah, and we can't let this next generation that may be, waiting in the wings for the current elites to go the way of the dodo. We can't let them keep the system going the way it's going. And you're absolutely right. And you really struck a chord with me when you said, you can't get, try not to yell at people for no reason, that kind of thing, you know, because I'm a huge believer in communication and the nuances of communication as well. And I've had problems with that too. I'm a hothead. I mean, I'm in my early 50s now, so I've slowed down a bunch. As I'm able to like, okay, this is not worth getting upset over. You know, I kind of look at the situation. It's like the meme where you see like the math equations and stuff. You know, you're like, it's like I'm thinking about that whether I should just like lay into this motherfucker or not. But I'm like, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But back in the day, you know, I got myself a little bit of trouble. Not crazy trouble, but with my mouth, yeah, it was no good. So but
now, if you just you know, follow one of the rules, which is just keep your calm, you can still convert that person. You know, you got to decipher their bullshit first. But if you keep your calm and then you talk to them for, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, a lot of times they're going to be like, hey, fuck this. And I don't know about you, but for me, it's like, hey, this Marxist-Leninist is making a lot of good points right here. And then they ask more questions. And then suddenly you've done Inception, where you've like put a seed in their brain and you've kind of got them thinking about things in a different way. And that helps tremendously. And then next time they see you, they may ask you about some things. I just did this recently with somebody at my wife's art show, where I just started up a conversation with a dude who had never been there before. He's DSA. He is not a Marxist-Leninist, but I talked to him for, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, the last 2 art shows. And now he's like, dude, I kind of like the way you think about things. So I think I've got a convert on my hands, and it's just because I didn't tear out his throat for any of the bogus stuff that the DSA has done lately, treated him nicely, and now he's suddenly like halfway to Marxism. so that's the way it goes, man. And again, I don't hold those same rules. When I go after Kalinsky or all of them on my show, I'm trying to get their attention. Yeah. I'm trying to, like, you know, that's what I'm trying to do. If I ever had a conversation with any of these people in real life, I would follow those rules to a T and try to convince them of my points. But like, you know, I all the roasts I do and all that stuff on my show, that's just for trying to get people to tune in. You know, I make fun of these people to try to get, you know, an audience to listen to me, but I would never, you know, make fun of Kyle Kalinsky in real life. If I ever got a conversation with him, I'm going to try to convert his ass.
Right. Well, you're very entertaining in your roast, so I think that's part of the appeal.
Thank you.
You know, your channel's really taken off. Like, you and I started at the same time, and I was just watching your numbers just, and I was like, yeah, that's my boy right there, you know? And I was like, I felt so good because
it's because I'm willing to call Nancy Pelosi the C word a lot.
Caring? No, that's not the right C word. I know what you're talking about. It's 8:30. I know you got to go soon, but I just wanted
just a few more minutes.
Good, because I wanted to, you know, talking about the way you deal with people and how you can convert them. That's beautiful. And every once in a while, I'm able to do that because I don't get impatient, and I don't use. I'm usually when it happens is if for some reason I'm in a good mood, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I can convert this person. But if I'm like in a kind of a bad mood or something else has just pissed me off, and I'm just like, I get with one of these knuckleheads on there, they say, well, you're a Nazi, and I'm like, you know, I do all the cartoon cursing. There's like, you know, dollar signs and pound signs and I'm sorry, hashtags. They used to be called pound signs back in the day, kiddies, and it was on a phone, and yeah, they didn't do nothing. You could play tic-tac-toe on them. But circling back from that crazy tangent, I just want to say I appreciate you, what you're doing, and I'm glad that you and I are both in the Independent News Network together. I'm not technically news. I just bring on the truth tellers, and so I'm just kind of like a gateway drug to hopefully everybody out there to see what, you know, to see and hear what you guys have to offer. Now your show's on YouTube, right? But you're also on Rockfin too, is that right?
That's right. Yep. And I'm actually going to be making a major shift towards Rockfin here pretty soon. I haven't announced that yet. I kind of talked to Noli D about this on her show last night. There's just so much censorship going on right now, man. Like not just on Twitter, but on YouTube. It's hard for me to talk about some of the main things that I like to talk about. I want to do an episode on Julian, which I'm going to do anyway, but I can't put that shit up on YouTube. They'll immediately flag me if I talk about him.
What's his name? The guy who did he's on Rockfin. He just lost his YouTube. He got suspended on YouTube. Oh, what's his name?
I've seen couple recently.
Shit.
Was it Jason Burgess or whatever?
Jason Burmis, yeah.
Burmis, that's right.
But he seems to be rocking the Rockfin pretty well. He's doing really good on Rockfin. So
yeah, I think believe it or not, man, this is just a recent development with me. Is like my Rockfin is actually growing a lot faster than my YouTube, which that tells me that on my YouTube they've got me suppressed. I don't know how badly, but I would imagine they consider me fridge content. So I'm going to be moving not exclusively to Rockfin, but I'm going to be like shifting that way. I am on Rockfin. I'm on YouTube right now. I'm also on Rumble, but I haven't really uploaded anything to Rumble yet. I don't have a lot of the time to upload to 3 places at once. But yeah, man, if you guys want to find me, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Rockfin, and I'm going to be shifting in the near future mostly to Rockfin.
Right. And let me get your face up here one more time so we get at Rob. How do you pronounce your last name?
Beekner.
Okay.
Like a bird beak.
But he will always be Robert Durden, the Grand Master chess champion of Political Fight Club. Mental gymnastics. You're like the Kung Fu master.
Hey, thank you, man.
And I've been dying until I actually talk to you one-on-one for a while. So I really appreciate you coming on. And I know you want to go spend time with the little ones. That's very good. I'm going to spend time with my little ones. But those are totally different things, and I'm not going to go any further with details about that. So, but what I am going to do is, before you go, let's check in with the chat one more time. Nully, perfect timing. We're about out of here. Wesley Donison, hello. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Lucy, Blue Moon, Red Wine, the family, all the family. That reminds me,
I wanted to do a plug for her. That's what I was going to say. Like, we should really plug that.
Yes.
The student debt boycott's coming up on December 11th. And I already plugged this on a couple other shows. It's really important. Lucy has done great work. We need to tune in for that. It's going to be great. There's a whole bunch of speakers. It's going to be wonderful on talking about student debt and things we can do to, boycott other things that we can do in terms of dealing with student debt, since Joe Biden is not going to forgive it via executive order, which he could do. And I want to give a shout out to Lucy. Her takedown the other day when she was talking about how, did you see this, Uncle Warren, where she went on Twitter and basically was like, retaliating first against assholes who are inevitably going to come against us. Like, she knows that because of the General Strike Summit, that the student debt boycott summit is going to take an inordinate amount of shit from neolibs, shitlibs. So what does she do? She goes out on Twitter and she goes, "Hey, all you neolibs, Jimmy Dore's not invited to this student debt boycott summit, so you guys are going to have to find another reason to shit on it." Oh, I love that shit so much. So Lucy, mad shout outs, not only for doing the summit, but for also retaliating first. That was fucking dope.
Fuck yeah.
Makes me so happy that she goes out there and basically like, fuck you guys. Fuck all of you guys. You're going to have to find another reason to shit on this. So I imagine they will anyway. Stand strong, Lucy. You're doing a great job. This is going to be a great event. So tune in, guys.
Yes. And there's like a shit ton of links in the description. You can check out the INN link tree. I believe that may be in the description below. And that's how you could get to all of us on the Indie News Network. Daryl, have a great night. He's heading out. I'm sure everybody else is going about their business as well. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And Robert, I appreciate you coming on. I tell you, man, these things go by quick, right?
They do. Time flies when you're having fun, brother. I really appreciate you having me too, man. We'll do it again for sure. We can make it a regular thing. Just let me know when you're available.
We're definitely gonna do that. And speaking of which, I'll keep you on camera for this because I'm gonna, I think I told you this before, but I'll tell everybody now. So there's going to be like some new goodies from Extra Bulla. I'm going to start doing a video game show that's basically kind of like this show, only there may be guests on, there may be not, but I play some video game that I like, and we talk shit about people and places and things, right? And I'll be doing more commentary videos. The thing is you, what you said, you made a good point. It's like, know what you're talking about, read up, study, get multiple sources, that sort of thing, be knowledgeable about important things. And I'm always afraid, I try to as much as I can, but it doesn't seem like I soak in as much knowledge as I would like to. But when I do, I want to do like some commentary videos and stuff like that. So I will take your advice and try and learn more stuff about things I'm probably not very comfortable talking about. But that's what communication's all about. You got to cross those bridges and connect people, right? So are you going to be on anybody's shows, or what's going on? What's up next for you?
I don't have anything planned. I have 4 or 5 episodes written for my show, but nothing as far as shows that I can go on. I'll let you guys know. But most of my stuff's going to be on Rockfin coming up here. I got to talk about, like I said, Julian. I got to talk about Tara Reid and Joe Biden and the Jacobin article that recently came out. I don't know if you saw that, where Andrew Cuomo and his defenders are using the same play that Joe Biden used to ignore and shame Tara Reid with Lindsey Boylan, who, so that I'm going to do an episode on that as well. That made me want to throw up in my mouth, man. It was fucking awful to read about that. And I got one more, I think, safe for YouTube video coming up tomorrow. So
right on.
But other than that, I'm just kind of chilling and doing my thing.
Well, dude, I am not going to drive my gasoline truck anywhere near you because you're on fire. So, and you. I don't want to get burned up. So, thanks a lot, brother. And we will do this again. I want to do like, once I can get the tech possibilities in order to get like multiple people on, with maybe you and someone else that we like, that we can stand talking to, and then we can talk shit, because that's always fun.
Hell yeah, man.
But I will definitely let you know that. Hang around, I'll say goodbye to you in just a second, but let me say goodbye to these folks real quick. Folks, me and my hat appreciate all y'all being out here. Reef, thank you so much. Mariana, Gamer, Blue Moon Red Wine, Lucy, Wesley Donison, Charlie Brown's Rebellion, Steve Wolfbrand, Vegan Succubus, what? Angel Rivera, Convo Couch stopped by earlier, Black in the Empire, hopefully Noli D, yeah, there you are, and I don't think I missed anybody else. It seems like, Nightbot, we love Nightbot. Nightbot can't really say anything unless I tell him to. I know it's a he because I checked under the hood. Anyway, Troy C, there you are. And I believe I got everybody. If not, thank you everybody for coming out. I appreciate you. Love all y'all. And as always, be good to one another. Take care of yourself. And make sure that you wash your ass. Thank you.